see you again. Thank you so much
I
for your
know.
time.
Hi, good to see you again. This one I know.
Absolutely. No, it's so good to see you. Congratulations with everything. So many exciting things. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I mean, I want to know that script to screen journey because at some point you're gonna get there and it's gonna get real, right? You're gonna see everything, all the costumes, the aesthetic. But what's it like reading everything and then seeing it come to life when you get there?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think actors jump on board at the last like 2 seconds of of really the creative process. So, I mean, my journey from reading it for the first time to seeing it live was very short compared to all the people that put in all the effort. I mean, George waited a long time to see this one come to life. So, but walking in to a real set, having built this entire town and the puppet shows and the stalls and the tent, like everything was just real. It was incredible. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. So that was like such a gift, and I feel like it really does like influence your acting to feel like you're immersed in an environment, and the cameras aren't so obvious because they're in a little market stall 50 meters away. Like it's very immersive experience.
Those costumes. I mean, insanity.
Oh
So
my.
take me through those days of like seeing the designs, and did you have a favorite one or was it really hard to pick?
Oh, yeah, I mean, the costume designers were incredible. I went for my first fitting and I saw this entire mood board. They'd picked like specific fabrics and colors, and then they kind of asked me about what I think this performer would specifically wear. I mean, of course we want to get the like time period and historical accurate, costumes, but then practically like what action do I have to do? Are you going to be comfortable in this? So I got some like practical input about some specific things, and yeah, the costumes were quite cold was the only thing I didn't get input about. I'm a very like chilly person, so wearing these little like shawls and stuff in cold Belfast was fun, but I'll take it any day for a beautiful handmade costume. It was a gift.
Absolutely. You transported, back in time for this role. There was an announcement recently where you're going to be on something incredible that you're also transporting back in time for. Congratulations. What is that mindset of going back in time for a role? Like, are you thinking about like there's so many probably things you're thinking about, but like how do you kind of rank the like important things to kind of prepare mindset wise for?
Yeah, I mean, not only going back in time, but going to a completely different world where they have a different history and a different outlet for race and for color and for men and women. Like the whole thing was just a lot to like wrap my head around. So I asked a lot of questions to Ira, and I asked George some stuff, and yeah. So I think like I guess the language really helps you feel like you're like transported a little bit back, and it maybe doesn't feel like the most natural to speak in this kind of oldie English talk, but it does help you like feel like you're in a different time, and I don't know, but I think the way I carried Tanzell felt very similar to what I see people carry themselves like in today's world. So I think there was like definitely some similarities that I brought. But yeah, it was like quite tricky to wrap your head around this whole history and realize that things that happen here that influence my life don't happen to her and won't influence her life. So yeah, it was a lot going on.
Absolutely. I just feel like that Game of Thrones universe is just such an immersive world. Like this show too is very immersive. And I'm wondering, there's always going to be this kind of, I feel like, tug of war and push and pull when you're working on something that's based on a pre-existing world, right? Whether it's
Right.
like a sequel to something, a prequel, just kind of an add-on, like a spin-off, so to speak. Do you kind of like, is it overwhelming to think about the big world that you're kind of being part of? Do you use it as research? Do you try to kind of like not think about it much? Like, what is that like with the adapted like source material aspect of
I
things?
mean, yeah, initially it was overwhelming. I think like when I was doing my audition, I tried to like gather as much knowledge as possible, and I was really trying to like delve into Reddit forums and all this information about Tanzania, just like getting into her. But then after I had got the role, I think I kind of like took a step back and kind of thought about things from her perspective and realized that she doesn't really need all that knowledge. She doesn't need to know about, the history of the Targaryen. Like, that's not really something that's influencing her life. Maybe she knows about, regional maps in this town and stuff like that. So that I tried to make an effort to learn. But I do think that I was in like a good position of not having to have all this knowledge because she wouldn't,
No, absolutely. That's really well said. And then last question, it's interesting. I know when you're filming something, you try not to think about the audience and certain things because you're focusing on the world you're in and everything, and that comes afterwards, so to speak. You might at lunchtime or at base camp be like, wow, people are going to freak out about this scene, right? That might come up. But I just want you to kind of talk a little bit about, like, we're seeing so many ways people are consuming media, content so global and everything. Like, what do you think about the current kind of landscape of the audience, so to speak, like how we watch things? There's so much content, like it's exciting but overwhelming as well.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I feel overwhelmed by the amount of stuff. I mean, I really try to watch new things. I try to keep up with what is getting nominated and what's making the awards circuit and whatever, So I mean, but there is so much that comes around, and which I guess is like a gift because things are allowed to have their moment and then the next thing has their moment. But then also I guess you can look at it like the yearning has gone, maybe we don't yearn like for the next episode like we did 10 years ago, So I think it's like a tricky balance. And I've like really, one of my resolutions for 2026 was really to mindfully watch things, and when I'm watching something, put my phone down and not be scrolling, because I think that, I don't know, things to me now sometimes seem like they're made for people watching their phones, and I think that's a shame because making movies is such a craft and it's a labor of love, and I want to give the proper attention to things that people have really lovingly made. So that's one of my resolutions, to not use my phone during movies, during an episode. Just get through half an hour without using my phone. Why is that so difficult?
Absolutely. Well, you are fantastic in A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Congratulations. And congratulations also, you're going to have amazing things happening. You're featured on Popternative on Our Radar, which was released in the end of the year about, storytellers to look out for 2026. So thank you so much. It was an honor and privilege to speak with you. Thank you so much, Tanzyn.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.